UFO vanished from US screens after 13 episodes, despite purple-haired moon-base pilots and a secret HQ beneath a movie studio. Now uncover 10 surprising facts about the series that imagined the future as 1980 and hit harder than an interceptor launch.
It's intact, fully tested, and ready for shipment. The breakthrough.
Number 10. The car doors were a total fake. Commander Straker's gull-wing vehicle screamed futuristic cool, didn't it? That sleek design promised tomorrow had finally arrived in all its chrome-plated glory. Here's the truth that'll shatter that illusion. Those signature doors never worked. Not once. Not even close. Not even a little bit. Every single time you saw them dramatically swing open on screen, a prop handler was literally crouched just outside the camera frame, manually yanking the door upward like a stagehand in a high school play working overtime. The hydraulics were pure Hollywood smoke and mirrors, or, in this case, pure elbow grease and perfect timing, coordinated like a NASA launch sequence. They sold us the future with duct tape and determination, and we bought every frame of it. Sometimes the most advanced technology on a sci-fi set is a guy with good upper body strength and impeccable comedic timing who knows exactly when to yank. The future was operated by a sweaty crew member just out of frame.
I'll lower the lights. Must have a good atmosphere in case we frighten away the spirits.
Number 9. Purple hair wasn't alien biology. Lieutenant Gay Ellis became an instant icon in that silver catsuit and violet wig. But the purple hair had nothing to do with moon radiation or alien DNA or any futuristic genetic modification. Co-creator Sylvia Anderson simply thought purple looked better than blonde or brunette under the brutal studio lights that washed out natural colors. That's it. That's the whole story. No complex backstory needed. The Century 21 fashion was basically a lighting director's practical solution dressed up as futuristic style. And somehow, it worked better than anyone expected or had any right to hope for. Fashion forward or just pragmatic problem solving. Either way, those wigs launched 1,000 cosplays before cosplay even existed as a recognized cultural phenomenon. Lieutenant Ellis proved that sometimes the best sci-fi design choices come from solving the most mundane production problems with unexpected creative flair. Purple wasn't the future, it was just better lighting, and audiences loved it anyway.
That's it. They're wide open now. Where are they?
Number 8. They literally erased people's memories. Shadow didn't mess around with security protocols or bother with paperwork and legal niceties or lengthy debriefings. Saw something you shouldn't have? They'd stick a needle in your arm and inject you with their standard-issue amnesia drug, wiping your memory clean like reformatting a hard drive with 0 backup files. Pilots, civilians, bystanders, even their own personnel. Nobody was exempt from the chemical blackout if they became a liability to operational security. It was ruthless, cold, efficient, and exactly the kind of morally gray storytelling that made Straker feel less like Captain Kirk and more like a man who'd already lost his soul saving the world, one compromised memory at a time. Imagine working for an organization where your boss could literally erase your worst day at the office from your brain. Whether you wanted it or not, whether you consented or screamed. The show asked, what if protecting humanity meant destroying individual human dignity? No debate, no ethics committee, just a syringe and sudden darkness.
Wow, must be quite a while since you landed an SST.
Just let's say it's part of the personal service.
Number 7. The aliens were body-snatching organ harvesters. Forget conquering Earth for its water or gold or even our prime real estate with ocean views. These aliens were a sterile, dying race flying across the galaxy to harvest human organs for transplants, turning Earth into their personal donor list. Think about that for a second. Interstellar biological piracy on a species-wide scale, turning the entire human race into unwilling spare parts. The concept was ripped straight from 1960s headlines about Dr. Christiaan Barnard's groundbreaking heart transplant surgeries. Twisted into nightmare fuel that made Invasion of the Body Snatchers look quaint and almost friendly by comparison. They didn't want our planet, they wanted our kidneys, lungs, and hearts to Frankenstein themselves back to life, one piece at a time, one abduction at a time. Sweet dreams, right? Sleep tight knowing that somewhere out there, something needs your liver. This wasn't colonization, it was a cosmic chop shop operating on an industrial scale. We weren't an enemy civilization, we were inventory waiting to be harvested.
Interceptors, immediate launch. Interceptors, immediate launch.
Number 6. A studio closure destroyed the show's continuity. Halfway through production, MGM British Studios unexpectedly shut down, forcing a chaotic 5-month hiatus that nearly killed the series and scattered the production team. When filming finally resumed at Pinewood Studios, props were missing, sets were destroyed, and characters just vanished into thin air without explanation or farewell. That jarring inconsistency you might remember. Actors disappearing without explanation, equipment changing between episodes, sets looking completely different, wasn't creative choice or intentional mystery designed to confuse viewers. It was production disaster turned into improvised storytelling, making continuity up as they went along. Entire storylines got abandoned in the move, scripts were rewritten overnight, and viewers were left wondering if certain characters were killed off screen or simply erased from existence like victims of Shadow's Amnesia protocol. The show's universe literally fell apart because the real-world studio system collapsed first. Art imitating life, imitating chaos. Sometimes the biggest plot twist happens behind the camera, not in front of it.
We could always turn back and say we had a puncture.
Nothing I'd like more, but we can't.
Number 5. The aliens weren't actually green. Here's a twist that changes everything you remember about those creatures. Those green-skinned invaders weren't born that way at all. Their faces were stained green by the oxygenated liquid pumped into their helmets, a fluid that cushioned their lungs during the bone-crushing G-forces of interstellar travel that would pulverize unprotected human tissue. It was liquid-breathing technology, surprisingly grounded in real science for 1970, decades before the Abyss made it look cool for mainstream audiences in the 80s. They were essentially marinating themselves in biological antifreeze just to survive the journey to Earth in ships that pulled forces no human body could withstand without turning into paste. The green wasn't genetics or evolution or alien biology. It was the price of crossing the cosmos in a tin can at velocities that would liquefy unprotected tissue into soup. Beauty is pain, Alien Edition. Vanity is survival. The color you remember as alien was actually the mark of desperation, the stain of a species willing to drown themselves in chemical fluid just to reach us.
Gentlemen, Miss Lake, Shadow Control have just informed me that a UFO is approaching the North Atlantic.
Number 4. One episode was too controversial to air. The Long Sleep got heavily edited or outright banned in several regions because it depicted a character recovering repressed memories while under the influence of illicit substances in vivid, unsettling detail. Broadcasters freaked out over the tripping to remember plotline, deeming it too intense for primetime audiences, despite UFO being an explicitly adult-oriented show from the beginning, with violence and mature themes throughout. Censorship in the 1970s was a strange beast, with inconsistent morality and arbitrary standards. You could show organ-harvesting aliens, bleeding victims, and existential horror that kept kids awake at night. But a psychedelic flashback sequence crossed the uncrossable line somehow. Apparently, memory drugs were only acceptable when Shadow was administering them forcibly to unwilling civilians for security purposes. The irony was completely lost on network executives who couldn't see their own contradiction. The episode that explored consciousness became unconscionable to the censors.
Come in, Seagull X-ray. Alec, are you okay?
I've aged about 5 years, but we're still in one piece.
Number 3. Straker made the darkest choice in TV history. In a question of priorities, Commander Straker faces an impossible decision that still resonates today and haunts viewers decades later. Divert a transport plane carrying life-saving antibiotics for his critically injured son, or use it to intercept an alien craft threatening thousands of innocent lives. He chooses the mission without hesitation, without emotion, without even a tremor in his voice. The aliens are stopped. His son dies on the operating table, while Straker tracks UFOs on a radar screen hundreds of miles away. No last-minute miracle, no heroic save, no divine intervention, no Hollywood ending. Just a father who sacrificed his child for the greater good and has to live with it every single day afterward, alone with his choice. That's the show in one gut-punch episode. Victory tastes like ashes, and duty devours everything you love. Straker won the battle, but lost the war that actually mattered. The only war that ever really mattered to him. The mission succeeded. The man died inside. That's the UFO you remember, where heroes don't get happy endings, they just get tomorrow.
Heard what happened about Regan?
Yes.
Number 2. The aliens might not be aliens at all. Late in the series, The Cat with 10 Lives dropped a mind-bending twist that recontextualized everything you'd watched before. Those humanoid invaders might just be mindless meat puppets with nobody home upstairs. The episode suggested they were human abductees, or cloned bodies being telepathically possessed and controlled by a non-corporeal alien intelligence we never actually see or understand, or can even comprehend. Think of them as biological drones piloted remotely by something unknowable, something that existed on a plane we couldn't even perceive or measure with our instruments. Suddenly, every previous episode gets darker. Were we watching an invasion, or a puppeteer's silent war conducted through stolen flesh against an enemy that didn't even know who was attacking? The bodies were human, the minds were alien, and the truth was somewhere in between those two horrible possibilities. Every alien killed might have been a human victim. Every victory might have been a murder. The show didn't just move the goalposts, it made you question whether there were ever goalposts at all.
Well, Mrs. O'Connor, there's not a lot wrong with you.
I could have told you that myself, Doctor.
Number 1. It accidentally spawned Space 1999. After cancellation, a second season called UFO 1999 was already in pre-production, focusing on an expanded moon-based story with bigger sets and higher stakes and more ambitious storytelling. Rather than scrap all that expensive development work and planning, producers stripped out the Shadow references, rewrote the entire premise from scratch, and transformed it into Space 1999. One of the biggest sci-fi hits of the mid-70s with a completely different tone and aesthetic. Different cast, different mission, different universe. But the DNA was pure UFO coursing through its veins like that green oxygen fluid. Commander Straker's lunar outpost evolved into Moonbase Alpha, and Earth's secret defenders became space explorers lost in the cosmos, adrift in the void. Talk about resurrection through reincarnation. UFO died so Space 1999 could live, Phoenix style. The interceptors became eagles. The war became exploration. Shadow's secret base became humanity's last hope. One show's ending became another show's beginning, and hardly anyone realized they were watching the same dream in different packaging.
Colonel Johns was on that case. Would you like me to ask him to follow it through with you?
No.
Bonus fact, there is no ending. You want closure? Wrong show. You came to the wrong place for satisfaction or resolution. UFO just stops mid-sentence, mid-battle, mid-everything. No final battle, no grand victory, no resolution, no answers, no goodbye. Thanks to erratic broadcast scheduling and sudden cancellation, the series ends mid-war, with Shadow still fighting an endless invasion in a 1980 that never arrived and never will. In the UK, the final aired episode was The Long Sleep, the banned one, ironically, leaving audiences with repressed memories and unanswered questions echoing into eternity like a signal lost in space. Fitting, really, when you think about it. Shadow kept secrets from the world, and the show kept its ending secret from us, locked away forever. The war continues somewhere in an alternate timeline where 1980 looked like silver jumpsuits and gull-wing cars and purple-haired moon pilots. Straker's still out there, making impossible choices. The aliens are still coming, and we'll never know how it ends. From fake car doors operated by stagehands to real existential dread that still resonates. UFO packed more innovation and darkness into 26 episodes than most shows manage in 5 seasons or 100 episodes of filler. Which fact shocked you most? The organ-harvesting aliens using us as a parts depot, Straker's impossible choice that still hurts to think about decades later, the revelation that Space 1999 was basically UFO's afterlife reborn, or the terrifying possibility that the aliens were puppeteering human bodies. All of it leaves one unsettling question hanging in the air. How much of the truth were we ever meant to see? This is Moon Interceptor signing off. Stay alert. They're still out there, watching,